Welcome back everyone to the Hello World Guide. This is another episode of the Raycasting series, and in this video it's going to be a really short video. We are going to just go ahead and make some mouse control for our player. So currently we have only got keyboard control for the player. We are going to change that, and we're going to also add the ability to control the player's rotation with the mouse. So in order to implement that, I'm going to actually go ahead and open up player.h here, and in here you can see we've got a new argument for the update function. Now this is actually an optional vector to I. The reason it's optional is because if this because we can obviously disable the mouse. So if the mouse is not captured, then we can have it so that your user doesn't actually use the mouse to move around and just uses the keyboard. And if this is not if this is present, this mouse delta has a value, then we're gonna assume that the user wants to use the mouse. So that's the reason this is actually an optional vector to I, and by default it's set to null optional because by default the mouse is not captured. So we're going to open up player.cpp, and inside of here we have got a new constant here, which is the mouse turn speed, which is set to 0.08, and this is much smaller than the turn speed because mouse is different and we don't multiply it by delta time, so we need to have it very small value. And what we do is when we are updating, we just go ahead and check if our mouse delta is present. So if you use an std optional as a boolean, then that converts it to a boolean depending on if it has a value or not. So we could just go ahead and say mouse delta dot has value, but not doing that, just saying if mouse delta is basically the same thing. So anyways, if this has a value, then we just go ahead and get the mouse delta x, and we only use the x of course because we only have the rotation on like one axis, we can't look up or down. We multiply that by our mouse turn speed and add that to the thing's angle. Otherwise all we do is that we take our we get our keyboard key pressed, and everything like we were doing with our keyboard control. So if this mouse delta is not present, then we just use the keyboard control. So as you can see, the player just moves depending on our mouse delta that we receive in an argument, and the main code for actually handling the mouse is in the game files. So if I open up game.h, you can see we have got two new variables here. One is a boolean called is mouse captured, which represents whether we are capturing and using the mouse or not, and the other is a last mouse position. And what we've got here is that you can see that in the update function and in the handle event function, we've got actually the new function here, which is handle event, and in the update function as well, in both of these functions we take a reference to the window as an argument, so that we can set the position of the mouse in the window and get the position of the mouse. So we have got this update and handle event here that's going to be be used for actually depending on what the keys user has pressed, we're going to capture or uncapture the mouse, and we're also going to handle all of the movement. So I'm going to go ahead and open up game.cpp. So in here by default we set is mouse captured to be just the default value, which is false. And in update, we take our is mouse captured value and we invert it, and then we use that to set the mouse cursor visible to not is mouse captured. So if our mouse is captured, then the cursor is not going to be visible, and if our mouse is not captured, then the cursor is going to be visible. And what we do here is that we create an std optional vector to I called mouse delta, and by default this is just set to the default value, which means it has no value, and we use this when we are updating the player. Now if our mouse is captured, then we don't set it to a default value. Instead we get the current mouse position by using sf mouse guess position relative to the window, and then we get our mouse delta and we set it to our mouse position minus the last mouse position. And then what we do is we set the window position, the mouse position in the window to our last mouse position, and the reason we do that is because we want the mouse position to reset so that our mouse is kind of locked in place. And that's all pretty awesome. So now let's go to the handle event function. In here we just switch on the event type. So if the user presses any mouse button, so we get a mouse button pressed event, and we don't check what button it is. As long as any mouse button is pressed, we set the mouse capture to true. Then we set the last mouse position to sf mouse get position relative to the window. And if a key is pressed, then we check what the key is. If it's backspace, then we're going to use backspace to determine when we want to uncapture the mouse. So if that happens, then we just set is mouse capture to false. So this is just that's literally it. And we are going to open up main.cpp, and here you can see all we need to do is if our state is editor, we are handling the editor event, else we are going to handle the game event. And also if our state is game, when we are updating, we actually need to pass the window here. So apart from that, you can see this is some pretty simple stuff here, and this gives us our mouse control. So if I go ahead and run make, you can see I can move around, I can use my keyboard just like I could do earlier, but I can also click in here, and once I click, I can actually use my mouse to move around. And if I press escape, you can see that the editor window gets activated. yeah, the editor window gets activated, and in here you can see the mouse is not captured, but if I go back here, the state persists because the game and the editor actually maintain separate states. So anyways guys, this was a really short video. We just implemented some mouse control in this one. The next video is going to be more fun. We're going to try to add a weapon for our players, so stay tuned for that. Make sure to like and subscribe as well so you don't miss that one. Share this video with other people as well, and I'll see you in the next one, and bye.